Welcome back YouTube. As you can see, the engine is out. If you haven't already seen it, I did do a time-lapse video of me taking the engine out. It's not the best video. I could have done with stopping in between different bits and showing you what I'm doing, but to be honest, I've just got my head in wanting to get the engine out. So I'll put it up there for you if you want to watch it. What I'm going to do, I've called it an unboxing video. It's not really an unboxing video because obviously I have already unboxed everything because I couldn't wait. I couldn't help myself. But what we'll do is, you can see everything set out here. I'm going to bring it up onto a table. We'll go through each part one by one. I haven't got every part here. There's a few bits I need, but I'm just going to show you. I'm going to start building the engine with what I've got. I've got all the internals. So I'm just going to show you everything I've got at the minute, and then other new stuff I get, I'll just show you as I'm basically building the engine. Any new bits, I'll just chuck them in here and there. I'll give you a quick overview of what we've got though. Obviously, Pulsar Turbo 3582R Gen 2 dual ceramic ball bearing. I've got the EMU Black standalone ECU. I've got the plug and play adapter to go with it. This is just a piston ring grinder to do the ring gap. We've got wastegate, blow-off valve. This is a wideband sensor, LSU 4.9. We've got the CTS turbo manifold, King Race main bearings, King Race rod bearings. It's just a Victoraine's head set. But obviously we've got the JE Pistons, 9.25:1 ratio. We've got they're the uprated wrist pins for it. We've got the forged Pro Race Engineering rods. We've got Arp Main Studs, Arp Rod Bolts. They fell out of the packet, so they're in the bank before, but Racewear head studs, Permatrax assembly lube for building the engine. Then over here we've got CTS Turbos billet fuel rail, anodized black, CTS secondary air injection delete. Then this is Deca DCT stage 3 clutch pack. This should hold more than 900 Newton meters of torque. And then obviously I've got the cover, the bits that basically go with it to fit this clutch pack. So the clutch pack should be able to hold everything I throw at it, hopefully. I'm doing all that, and I'll probably end up stripping the gear, but you know, fucking shit happens. But yeah, so what I'll do is, we'll spin the camera around now, I'll pull like a trolley up or something, and we'll pull the items up one by one, get a little overview for them, and then I'll do for today's video. After that, the next video will be me starting to strip that engine down. So yeah, let's spin it round, let's get it. Right, obviously not the ideal setup, just pulled over a little trolley. First off, we've got the Pulsar Turbos 3582R, as you can see. Dual ceramic ball bearing. Super smooth. For a cheaper turbo, obviously on the BM I had a max speed in rods turbo, which was like 110 quid, something like that. Obviously that was just a journal bearing turbo, but all the casting and everything was just rough, and you could tell that it was cheap. Whereas this, all the casting and everything's super smooth. Obviously with the dual ceramic ball bearing, it just, yeah, it's real nice. So not really anything else to show you with that, to be fair. Put these bums back, grab up the next thing. Next, JE Pistons. Like I said, 9.25:1 ratio. I'm not going to get every single piston out, there's no point, they're all the same obviously. It's nice that it has got the side coating on the skirts. We've got uprated wrist pins. Now when I clicked for the uprated wrist pins, I automatically thought they were going to be JE, and when they've come, they've ended up being CP. Not that it matters, but these are tool steel pins. I'm not really bothered at the CP, as long as they fit, it doesn't really matter to me. I mean, CP's a top-notch brand, so you can't complain. Obviously, not really a lot to them. Arp Rod Bolts. Pro Race Engineering. These are I-beam billet connecting rods. I bring these two over together. I'm not going to get these out the packet just because I don't want to start getting my dirty fingers over them. But obviously they're King Race rod bearings. King Race main bearings. Like I said, I did order the Arp Head Studs. Pro Race didn't have them in stock. I couldn't find anywhere else that had them in stock, but they did say they had racewear. I don't know much about them, but looking into them, they seem to be just as good, well known. Unfortunately, they did fall out the packet. I have gone over them though. All the studs are there, all the nuts and all the washers are there, and I double checked all the threads. Everything looks fine, so I'm not going to complain to them about the fact that it just came out. Everything's there, it's not damaged. So Arp Main Studs. Obviously, again, not really an awful lot to see. We've got the studs in there, washers and nuts. Obviously, assembly lube as well, like always. And obviously, you do get your paperwork. Tells you everything you need to know. Your torque limits and everything. Again, I'll bring these two up together. Got ECU Master Emu Black. Can't believe how small this is. Real nice. Obviously, it's got its built-in map sensor. Really small, nice. Obviously, you get your plugs in there and your pin set. What I did go for, they do a plug and play. It's meant to be for the Mark 4 engines, but apparently with a slight modification, you can get it to fit. To be honest, I've gone and ordered it, and I don't even know what the modification is, but I know that you can do it, so I just ordered it, and I'll just cross that bridge when I come to it, basically. Here it is quickly. I basically thought the plug and play was just going to be a lead, but obviously you get this box. My guess is, because obviously the Mark 5 R32 and the Mark 4 as well, obviously they've got CAN bus, so I'm guessing that this box is some kind of CAN bus converter. Don't hold me to that, that's just a guess, I don't actually know. I know this is a plug and play adapter. I'm just guessing the fact that I'm guessing what's in here is some kind of CAN bus unit, as a guess. But yeah, that should just make things easier. I hate wiring. That's when I just hate wiring. Right, bring these over together. Now, people might be a bit skeptical about these. The Pulsar Turbo, I ended up getting these from Pulsar. So basically, the knockoff tile, wastegate and tile blow-off valve. I was going to go Turbo Smart, but to be honest with you, with everything else I was getting, I was looking into it. They're like 800-900 quid for the pair, and I've used the knockoff teal blow-off valves before, never had a problem, and I also used the knockoff teal wastegate before, and not had a problem. After seeing all the reviews on the Pulsar Turbo and seeing how good they were, even though I know these are knockoff, I feel like Pulsar's gone out the way to make a really good turbo, so if you're going to get any kind of decent knockoff, it's going to be from Pulsar, rather than having to find a Chinese vendor that you don't really know about. So I don't know, it might come back to bite me in the arse, but it's not even, if it was a little bit extra for the real one, then I'd pay it. But in reality, these are like a quarter of the price, literally. Like, I can't remember exactly what these were, but I'm sure one was like 8 there, and the other one was 6 there, whereas when you buy them, they're nearly 400 quid each, if you buy the legit ones. So, obviously I've got all the adapters and flanges and everything come with them, but I don't feel like you really want to see it. But these are just, I haven't got ones that have got teal on and all, these are just pretty much plain. But again, the casting's really nice, everything comes with it. Basically all the stats they give for it, the way it's built, is exactly the same as the tile one. So the thing is, you got to think, even for tile, these won't cost a lot to make. What you're paying for is their R&D basically. And you might think, well, that's a bit of a dick move when they've put all that money into R&D and you're going to buy a knockoff. And yeah, to an extent it is, but at the end of the day, I'm not rich. The owner of tile's got more money than I have, and the parts are there for a quarter of the price. I'm going to take it. If I believe the work, which I hope they do, I've just gone for it. So I've just gone for the plain black for both of them, but yeah. Quick one, just a Bosch lambda sensor. Like I said, LSU 4.9. Right, another thing, I haven't gone for your nice fancy tubular manifold. People have got good power off these. They flow really well. They're a little bit heavy, but they're reliable. They're solid, real nice casting. See, the reason I went, you can get the cheap ones on eBay, they're about 150. The trouble with them is they all come in T3, and I really wanted a T4. Not only that, they come with the old style flange for the wastegate, and I really didn't want them. I just wanted the 44mm V-band, which obviously that's what this has got. This is the knockoff tile wastegate will just go straight on here, which is what I wanted. It wasn't much more. I ended up getting a CTS Turbo dealer login, so I got them a discount and they were on offer. So I needed to order a few other bits from CTS, so I just thought, you know what, I'm going to go with this one. It's solid. I like the placement of where the turbo is. It shouldn't be any cracking or anything. I didn't really want to spend 1,500 quid plus on a tubular manifold. And like, I want the spool to be quicker than that, so I might lose a bit of top end with this compared to a tubular, but we'll see. I like the look of this one, so this is what I went with. If you want to get a close up, obviously 44mm wastegate. This is T4. While I run about CTS, this is their high flow fuel rail. It's billet. You might be thinking, why did you bother going for this? It was just that because mine's a Mark 5, I haven't got the return on the rail. What people do is they fit the one off the Mark 4, which has got the return. On the Mark 5, the return, basically the relief valve is in the filter, which is kind of a weird thing to do. So you've only got one pipe coming up to the rail, so you have to switch to the Mark 4. Instead, I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to do a proper fuel system. I'm probably going to run a surge tank with a drop-in filter inside the surge tank. So I'll just run AN fittings off this and just do a complete fuel system. Obviously, it's anodized black. I don't know how well you can see, but it has got the CTS Turbo branding. It's real nice. You do also get the bolts for it as well. As well, while I run it, CTS Turbo. This is the secondary air injection delete kit. Obviously, you get your gasket, O-ring, your bolts, and everything in there, but they're your main two pieces. Got a few little bits of Permatrax, assembly lube, that's just for building the engine. I didn't put this up before, Febby timing chain kit. I suppose you don't really need to see it, but chain, guides, everything you need to do it. I may get some of the sprockets and stuff that I'll get from OEM from dealer, but I'll just get them as and when I need them. Basically, I just get this. Victor Reigns head gasket kit. Got stem seals, head gasket, loads of other bits. These are, I've just never had a problem with Victor Reigns head gaskets. With the racewear head studs and everything else, I should be fine with the Victor Reigns head gasket. I've also got anytime I do a boosted car, spray this on the head gasket. It's like a gasket adhesive. This is what I used on the BM. So many people I've seen rave about it, so I'll just be doing the racewear studs, Victor Reigns gasket sprayed with this. And then I'm going to do the stem seals, and if you've got inlet gasket, cam cover gasket, all that kind of thing. So I just find it easy to just buy one of these sets. There's some more bits to this. I'm not getting it all out and put it together, but this is for grinding a ring gap. It's only a cheap thing from China, but I mean, if you was doing it every day, you'd buy a better piece of kit, but I don't really build engines very often, so just got that. Right, let's move this out of the way. One of the key components, believe it or not, one of the most expensive ones, but to be honest with you, I can't be spending all this money building the engine, everything, and then just having gearbox clutch problems. My car, it already needed a clutch pack. It's needed one for a while, but obviously with the fact that I was planning on building the engine, I wasn't going to do it. I have got a new dual mass flywheel as well, a DSG one. Obviously new bolts for the flywheel, and then this is the Decker, which is a company in Ukraine. This came from Ukraine, it came super fast. This is the stage 3. This is 900 Newton meters plus capable, so I'm told. The thing is, it's not even just a OEM basket. Come around here, try to show as best I can. Basically, you see the splines usually end at the end of this piece where it sticks out, but it seems like they've extended it. I think that's to give it extra strength, you know, so you've basically got longer splines to give it more strength. So this is a completely custom piece. I don't know how well you can see in there, but with the plates, I will do another video. When I come to fit it, I'll do a better video, but I have had this top cover off before, and there's another piece in here that's been it. So I thought it was just going to be a stock basket and cover with different frictions and stuff in, but when I've took it apart, it's more than that, way more than that. There's other billet pieces, obviously this top cover's different. So yeah, real nice. This is I don't know if you've done a 6-speed DSG before, so you might not know it, but obviously you have to change this plate when you take it off. We've also got the big circlet, and then you have these as well, where you have to space the clutch pack out, so you get like a bag of a few of them. You have to find out the thickness that you want. So I've got all that. I believe that's about it for now. I've still got to I still need an inlet manifold, still need injectors. It's kind of hard to find injectors for this. Now I've got the engine out and I've measured the other ones, it's going to be easier, but before, just searching under R32 injectors, it's not easy to find them. So yeah, I need an inlet manifold. Obviously I'm probably looking at a surge tank. I've already got an updated rated fuel pump in the tank, but it's going to be nowhere near enough for what I'm going for. So what I'm planning on doing is having that lift pump supplying the surge tank, and then have the surge tank with an internal pump in. I'm not too sure which one yet, and then that will feed obviously the fuel rail. I don't know if I'm using it yet. I have used these before and never had a problem, but this is a Chinese fuel pressure regulator. I've used these before, never had a problem, but whether I'm going to use it or not, I'll go for a more expensive one, I don't know. And these are only 30 quid. But we'll see. Right, so that's it. Hope you enjoyed it all. Yeah, one last thing as well. A lot of you have been on my case about wanting to know how much it costs to doing a video on it. Now, there's so many variables and it's so hard to do. I'm gonna do a complete separate video where I'll get like a whiteboard or something and I'll go over it as best I can. But for now, just as a quick one off the top of my head, I would say I'm gonna build my own engine, and obviously I'm doing all the label work myself. Even then, to do it the route I'm doing, I would say it's gonna cost me 10 grand, including the mapping, the custom downpipe, and like the bits of fabrication, like, oh yeah, I need an intercooler, and fabricating the intercooler. It's gonna stand me at about 10 grand. Other people are asking if you could do it like on the cheaper if you weren't building the engine. I would say if you're not building the engine and you just do a decompression plate, you could probably do it for 5 grand at a push. It's going to depend. For that, you would obviously have to take the route with the cheaper turbo, some cheaper other bits, not build the engine, and you'd have to be doing the work yourself for that. If you was going to do it without a decomp plate and someone else doing it, you'd probably spend 10 grand. It's hard to say. Even, I mean, I could have gone more. I could have easily spent 20 grand if I really wanted to just go crazy on it. But I'd say if you're doing the work yourself and you want to do it the cheapest possible way, you've got to allow 5 grand. If you want to do it to the point where you're building the engine, I would say you've got to allow up to 10 grand. I mean, there is some things I could have cut corners on with certain bits, but then there's loads of other bits where I could have spent more, like I said, with the wastegate and the turbo. The turbo itself, I mean, a Pulsar one, you could have got a genuine Garrett, or if money was no object, I would have gone Borg Warner or EFR all day. And then obviously the manifold, you could get £150 one off eBay. Wastegate, I could have gone more expensive on them and got the proper ones. So yeah, it depends on what level you want to go to, but if you want to build the engine and do it yourself, you need 10. And that I'm talking English pounds. You need 10 grand really to do it properly. If you're doing it on the cheap, you need minimum 5, but it could easily spill over. And the problem is you start getting problems, and it's again with the gearbox and stuff. And as for building the engine, I don't want to say this because I haven't got experience, but from the general premises, you're all right to about 450 with just a decomp plate, crank, brake horsepower. Some people have gone up towards more like 500, but from what I've read and seen, that's when you start pushing the limit. So if you want to go 450, you could just do a decompression plate. You might get away for about 5 grand if you do it on the cheap. It really depends on how cheap you go. I mean, you could start buying like second-hand intercooler, using universal pipe work and hoses rather than getting stuff fabricated. You could go for the cheaper manifold. You wouldn't necessarily have to buy this. You haven't got to buy all the engine components and stuff. So yeah, it depends what level you go to, but I will try and do a more in-depth video on that, get a whiteboard out, etc., and go over it. But yeah, for now, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you when I start building the engine. Peace.